the recording. This is the recording of the Civil Revit one. So I'm gonna start a new project, and I'm gonna make it the architectural template. It's just a little easier to work with. And it says I'm going to have to work on the site plan. Remember, these are all your views. This is all your data about the views. If one of those goes away on accident, you go to the View, User Interface, and turn it back on. So it said to go to the site plan and set the scale huge, as big as you can. 1 inch equals 400 feet. And then what you're going to do, these are elevation markers that I don't need. So if I right click, I can hide that category of item in view. There we go. All set. And so now I can save this, and I'll just call it my Week 5 Civil Demo. There we go. So right now it's a big blank thing, but I know I got a file from Caltrans that has my topo on it. So I'll insert that. There's the insert ribbon. And I can make a link, which brings it in for a little while and remembers where it's stored, or I can actually bring it in and load it into this file. I'll do that. And there it is, Simi Valley Contour file. I'll let it go look up my units. Woo, that's nice. It'll go into my file and look up what I meant. And I'm going to put my 00 of my file to the 00 of the Simi Valley file. And I'll place it at level 1. You don't have to worry about that. There it is. There it is. And does that look like a freeway overcrossing? This is the freeway heading west through Simi Valley. This is the freeway heading east. Here's the overcrossing. Can you see where the off-ramp west, the on-ramp west, the off-ramp east, and the on-ramp east? So you can sort of see from this what this looks like. And this is just, you know, how it looks, right? It rises up and does its thing. Here's the stormwater drainage for this area right there. So there's a little pump and a grate and a little well and a pump right there. And everything pretty much drains this way. Now, some of this does drain over to here, but they've got pipes running underneath that gets everything to drain into this area. There we go. But that's still an AutoCAD file. It's called DXF. DXF file. So I'm going to save it, though, because I just did something good. So now I want to make a Revit topography, ground, earth, stuff like that. I want it part of my file in Revit, not just some thing that I can see. So to do that, I have to give it mass, and it's site work, massing and site. Topo surface. That is so cool. Going to actually make a surface. And it says I can create it from that DXF file. This is so awesome because I can get that DXF file from survey equipment, from a drone, from somebody's drawing. DXF means digital exchange format. Click. And there's a bunch of layers, and this means interchange contours. Those are the ones I want. The interchange contour. And this was what Caltrans called it. Takes a while. And there it is. That is so cool. And if I want to see it in 3D, I can go to this little 3D house view. Click. And there it is. And if I hold shift and the wheel, you really do see it. Now you can really see it as a freeway, right? It really is easier to see. Except for this big dam in the way. Yeah, Speed Racer would have a problem there. So I have to dig this all out and actually put concrete across there. I need a concrete slab. So, how am I going to do that? I'm going to go back to my site plan, and I'm going to save it because I just did something good. Can everybody see okay as to what is what? This little line, let me do it in a that's sort of a line down the freeway, and that's another line down the freeway. And that's an on-ramp. And this is kind of an off-ramp. So you can see what this looks like. I'm going to get rid of those now. Okay, so this is really in there now. But see how that thing flashes up now and then? If I click on that, now that I've got my stuff, I can unpin it and delete it. I don't need it anymore. Now, all I've got is my model, and my AutoCAD is gone. So if I click on this, I can edit it, and you'll see tons of dots show back up. And I want to get rid of all the dots that should be overpass. And like some of these are obviously in the way. Okay, so let's just see what that looks like. That's getting there. Let me go back to my 3D view. Getting there, but it is kind of weird, huh? Let me do a little bit more work. Oh, let's see. Let me get out of this really quick. So now the other thing I know is like right here, It's like 66 feet. And over here, it's like 69 feet. So I need to pay attention to that. So now I can start placing points. At 68 feet. And I'm just going to try to get some 68 kind of going across here. So that looks close. Let me get rid of some of these. That's kind of 68-ish along there. And so now I need some points. They're like 66. I'm just carving things back. So that's all 68-ish. That all looks okay. But now let's see what these are. These are all at 89. And I'd like to have those kind of straightened out across here. And I think if this is 66, I've probably got a 67 somewhere. Oh, now I'm getting it. '66, '67. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. Let me do another like 66. And let me do another 67. Cool. That's how I start to make it kind of go back a little bit. It's thinking. There we go. That looks pretty cool on that side. Well, let's see what I need here. What's that one? 67. Let's just get rid of those and see if I can get it back to a 66 over here. That didn't do so good. Let me get a 67 in. There we go. So now it looks a little bit better. This piece, I probably want this upper edge to be a little bit more straight so that when I put my ramp on there, it works a little better. So this is just playing pixel by pixel. That looks okay. That looks a lot better. Let's see how it looks. Well, that looks a lot better. Not perfect. I got a little bit of an issue over here, but not too bad. Those could probably move over just a little bit. Not too bad. Save. That's the hardest part of this whole thing. Now I'm going to put a ramp in from my site view. And over here, if I look at my massing and site again, I can find out that's at an elevation of 88 and 102. So I've got to put in a ramp. There's a ramp. I'm going to put a ramp from there to there, but it didn't go very far. There it goes. Now let's take a look at that ramp. 224 long. Going, oh, it's only 3 feet wide. I'll bet you that thing's more like 60 feet wide. Even more than that. Maybe it's 100 feet wide. That looks about right. And it looks like maybe I need to move it over, touch, and I probably need to make it kind of go up to there. I'm going to make it like 90 feet wide. That looks pretty good. I need to move it back over this way just a touch. There we go. Now, it's going to start at level 1, but it's going to start at 88 feet and then go from level 1 up to 102 feet. And that's important. Where are you counting from? Remember we said we put this thing in level 1? So from level 1, I'm going to start at 88, and then I'm going to go up to 102. Let's see what happens. I'm going to look at this thing too. It's only 3 inches thick. How did I get there? I looked at ramp number 2 and said, I'm going to make it 4 feet thick. Let's see what it looks like. Go back to 3D. Not bad. I think I got pretty close with that one. And I can see underneath it. I even have some railings on it. This isn't bad. I could adjust all this to get my ground right, but you're pretty close right now. You're pretty close. So the last thing is to put in some regions. I'm going to go back to my site view. I'm going to get rid of these little things, and I don't want that. I don't want text on it. Oh, there it is. Uncheck them. Okay. So the first thing to do is make what's called a filled region. And, you know, you can just kind of be estimated about it. And I'm going to make it not solid black. I'm going to edit the type. And I'm going to call it concrete gray. Because I happen to know that it is. So I can make it kind of a dark gray. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, but it went over the top of that. So I shouldn't have done it the whole way. No, this is just a detail image on this. If you want it to really be done, you actually split this topography into two pieces and you make this concrete. I'll show you that on another time. Okay, so if you want to model it, you need to either put, well, there's two ways you can do it. But since this has a contour, you would want to split this topography into two pieces and make this piece concrete. But we're just doing a quick view right here so that somebody can see this is just to give somebody a quick view of how this would look. Now, when I do my next one, I can pick lines. Well, actually, I'll use curves. Kind of like maybe there. And what I like about this is you can really play around with it to get it very close to what's actually there. And it'll sort of snap to one if it gets the chance. So now all of a sudden you can see what I'm doing is I'm getting these set. And maybe you think that filled region concrete gray is a little bit too dark. I think you can lighten it up right here. Oh, that looks a little better, doesn't it? And it does them all. So this would be sort of like your site plan. It's a 2D plan, it's a site plan, and you would just put some details on this. Okay, so this is kind of cool. It's not too hard, it doesn't take too long, but then next week you'll be able to start putting in the irrigation lines and the planting and the little storm drain. You'll get a chance to play around with this. I'm going to save it again. You can put, this would be something like, and of course that's too big. So we would want it something like that size. And you can make it so that it just stays on top. You can make it white, but that would show those directions. And you could create an arrow and all sorts of things you can do here to make this a really nice little site plan. And you can take your time and you can get things well done. The other way you could do this if you wanted to is just put this in here. And again, that one's too big. So you could do all sorts of things on here that would just explain where this is. Now, if you're interested, I hate it when it does that. You can actually Google this. Let's drop out of here. See how that looks? So we just did this part. We did this part. We kind of put both of those together. This has to branch off and come through here. Kind of neato, isn't it? It's like, it really is there. And when you look at it, we put our BIC station in, but they never actually did the planting. It was supposed to be planted very similar to this one. It was supposed to be very, very similar to how this one was done. That's the actual one right there. And if we go stand on the freeway, I'm standing on the freeway. There it is. You can actually, and we can do this in Revit. And we can even take a snip of this background and put it into our Revit. Isn't that cool? I mean, you'll be able to do this in Revit and have all the renderings of this. Come on, I think I can get down there. I guess not. But if you're just trying to figure out where this is, you can do it. We'll stand in the crosswalk and look around. Any of you from or been to Simi Valley? Yep. So you probably recognize this spot. So there we go. That is it. So that's how you do the Revit for this one. So I'm going to stop this recording.